Hello and welcome to the Moncast. As always, I'm Stevie, and this episode I'm joined by Cheeseye236.
Hi.
She came back because we wanted to give her an important episode for once. So we gave her Mild and Woolly.
I was gonna say, and like always, it wasn't the Pokemon episode, because it's never the Pokemon episode.
One day you'll get an important Pokemon episode.
And again, I did make a note of that in my Pokemon notes, that I'm, again, only present for filler Pokemon.
It's nothing personal, it's just that it's mostly filler episodes.
I've gotten some good Digimon episodes, so I won't complain, but it is funny how I'm only ever here for Pokemon filler.
Speaking of Pokemon, it's currently in the lead 13-9, and this time we'll be discussing the 23rd episodes of the shows Genesis of Evil and Mild and Woolly. So let's start off with Mild and Woolly. Because Ash and Co have been making so much progress lately, they need to stop and take a break.
Such progress. Much progression.
Just gonna lie in this field. That's what we're gonna do.
That's what you do.
And Ash nearly chokes to death on a sandwich. Closest thing to drama Pokemon's ever had. And I didn't know how to feel about it. I was like, Ash could die. Would that be such a bad thing?
I mean, problem solved, series over. Move on to the next character, I guess.
Ash dies, and then it's got 16 minutes of just pitch black and no more episodes afterwards.
There's nothing else. You can go home now.
The end. Ash died. The only thing that could truly finish him off was a sandwich. But Ash lives.
Ash does not die to the sandwich.
I don't even think Brock and Misty, helped, really. There's only Pikachu that did anything.
I thought they told him to drink water, or was it just Pikachu giving him the canteen?
I suppose that they tried a little bit. Didn't Pikachu electrocute him? Or am I imagining that?
Yes? I forget now, I'm sorry.
I only watched the episode yesterday and I forget. I think Pikachu electrocuted him or something to get the sandwich out of his throat.
Sounds like a Pikachu thing to do. I don't know how that works, but hey.
It's the usual Pikachu solution. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt.
See, this is why animals shouldn't have superpowers. Because, if a dog is, reacting to something, it barks at it. But if the animal has the ability to shoot lightning, its reaction to everything is going to be, I'm going to shoot lightning at it.
It'd be even worse if the dog can breathe fire, and every time it barks.
Let's remember that there are dogs in this universe that can breathe fire.
So after that pointless few minutes of Ash not quite dying, a Mareep turns up. Mareep is a sheep. Brock somehow already knows it's a Mareep again, and Brock knows things before the Pokédex does somehow, despite coming from a completely different region where Mareep is not indigenous.
He said something like, I heard of it, but I've never seen it in person, I guess. Maybe he's heard of Mareep is the sheep Pokemon, and I think there's only one sheep, so...
Well, there's a whole line of them. There's Mareep, Flaffy, and Ampharos.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, the most sheep of the three is Mareep.
Mareep is a sheep, but do they have normal sheep to compare it to? They have normal birds and stuff like that.
Do they?
And I think bugs.
Do they?
And fish. I couldn't swear we've seen birds in Pokemon.
In the anime? I don't think so.
I might just be imagining that. Might be confusing it with Digimon. Well, we've definitely seen just regular birds.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Do they have sheep? Or maybe Pokemon is set generations in the future when sheep have gone extinct and instead they only have Mareep.
Pokemon are supposed to completely replace animals, so it's you have a lot of animals that are vital to ecosystems that don't exist at all. Dolphins and you have one sheep and stuff like that, how does this world work? Why does a fish turn into an octopus? I don't understand.
They do get a goat 4 generations later.
A goat, yeah, that's right, they finally get a goat.
Go Goat, because they can't be bothered with names, so just do the first bit twice. Go Goat.
It carries you, so it's a go goat. They literally are just hey, go goat.
What, so you say, go goat? Is that the whole joke? Go gadget, go! Anyway, I'm not a scientist. I don't know Pokemon ecosystems. If the show doesn't care, neither do I.
True. Point is, Brock noticed Mareep was a thing.
I'm just going to stop bringing up that Brock knows every Pokemon ever somehow. Whatever. He just does. And this Mareep dashes towards Pikachu and starts sapping them of their electricity. And then a herd of Mareep turn up and they all start dashing at Pikachu and mauling them.
An entire herd of sheep basically just like devours Pikachu. It's kind of scary in a way because you don't know like what those sheep are doing. And it's like, oh my god, they're going to eat Pikachu.
They just completely smother him. So we've had Ash almost choke, Pikachu almost suffocate. I think Brock and Misty get off okay.
Right. They don't nearly die. They're not that important to this story, but they don't nearly die at least.
Yeah, they don't get to have fun. But this little girl comes along because she's in charge of Mareep. She's, of course, called Mary because Mary had a little lamb.
Right, yeah, of course.
It could be worse. She could be called, like, Lamette or something dumb.
If they had not told me what this girl's name was, I would have just assumed it was Mary because of the Mareep.
It makes sense. It's a decent name.
Except it's like, did her mom just hey, I raise sheep for a living. Hey, I'm gonna have a daughter. I know exactly what to name her. Mary.
Where's the dad? I never even questioned that. Where is the dad?
Wherever is the dad in anything that's Pokemon related?
We rarely see two parents.
I know.
In fact, we rarely even see parents when we see kids in the filler episodes.
To be fair, you can go on a Pokemon journey when you're 10, so I mean, if you're a kid, you have to be younger than that.
I thought you were saying the dad might have gone off when he was 10. I was like, but they can't have had the kid and then he left.
I don't know what happened to the dad.
Yeah, I just don't know where the dad is.
He got mauled by an Ampharos. That's why there's only Mareeps. There used to be an Ampharos. There is no longer an Ampharos.
We got rid of the Ampharos, and now if our Mareeps evolve, we just finish them off before they can get any further.
That's how we get the mutton.
We'll just forget that the dad isn't there. He doesn't do anything because he's not there. The mum, on the other hand, brings along a Raichu to control the herd of Mareep.
I'm actually very surprised that there's a Raichu in this episode, and this plot does not involve a rivalry with some random character and their Raichu. Because that's almost always what happens if there's a Raichu. There's some kind of rivalry between the Raichu and Pikachu and Ash. But no, it's just a lady who owns a Raichu. That's it.
Yeah, the Raichu is super chill.
Yep, Raichu's just like, cool, a Pikachu. Neat. Also, Raichu is one of my favorite Pokemon, so yay, Raichu!
Raichu is just way better than Pikachu.
It just objectively is. It's so much cuter. Look at Raichu and then look at Pikachu and tell me Raichu is not cuter than Pikachu. You just can't.
He just says, Rai, which is much better than Pika-Pee.
Rai.
Rai. Anyway, let's get back on to the track that I left behind. So Ash and Co. follow Mary and Mary's mom into the house. I don't think the mother gets a name.
I don't think so.
I haven't got it written down anyway. Brock complains because the mother's too old for his tastes and the daughter is too young. So there's no one for him to hit on today.
Man, I forgot how weird Brock was with this.
Brock is weird.
Because he legitimately is like, aw, she's too old. Like, what?
She's like, if you were a decade younger. At least he kind of only says it to Misty and not to this poor woman's face.
Anyway, moving on.
I like how the kid isn't a problem, though. He doesn't mind the idea of being a father. That's good, at least.
I think that's kind of the least of our worries at the moment.
So, they talk about a Mareep festival that's going to happen in a week. So, Ash and Co are going to stick around for a week. I don't like that.
Who needs to get to Azalea Town? It'll be there in a week, right?
Let's just stay here and help herd the sheep.
Let's count some Mareep. Speaking of which, Team Rocket is there because of course they are. Because in the whole of Johto, they just happen to be in this one area with this one little farm, with this one group of Mareep that Ash and company happen to be staying with.
They just follow Ash and Co.
The usual, let's get Pikachu, but then they're also looking at the Mareep and they're like, oh, they'd be worth a lot of money because they have wool, and I guess Mareep wool is really, expensive. It's, I guess, the equivalent of silk in this world, I guess, because it sounds like only rich people can afford it.
Mareep do require a lot more maintenance because you need electricity for, the whole year round to even get them to make enough wool in the first place.
Yeah, but, all you need is an electric type then, and that's not really hard to come by.
Still, you need, special Pokemon to keep the Mareep at peak condition, and herding in thunderstorms, which is pretty dangerous.
Well, to be fair, you don't have to do that. It's just something that they were doing because they want to win the festival, and it'll, get them extra points. to like make them look all big and shiny. So you don't have to do that to necessarily just get wool in general.
I suppose.
Also, if you get like a herd of Mareep and like let's say you train one of them and you get an Ampharos, then you can just have that Ampharos be the source of electricity. It doesn't grow wool, so it's not necessary for that.
So yeah, Team Rocket's plan is to take the Mareep.
Yes, they want to take the Mareep and basically just sell them for money. Which, again, I don't think they need money.
They are just kind of bankrolled by the team, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so.
But they are always broke.
Yeah, but they can always afford these weird things.
I suppose it's just to kind of give them a reason to do evil things while not being evil.
Oh yeah, I get why they do it, but it still doesn't logically make sense.
They just need money.
For things.
Yeah, food. Food is good. They should have just taken the Mareep and eaten them instead.
I mean, I hear mutton's really good, but still, that's a little morbid.
Are Mareep sheep or lambs?
I mean, they're called Mareep, so I'm guessing they're sheep.
And Mary mentions that Mareep used to be a tiny Mareep. So Pokemon do actually get bigger when they grow up.
They must be small, and then, I don't know. The logistics of this world is weird.
They are weird. So Mary's thing is that she wants to be a Pokemon battler trainer.
I want to battle and do the battle things.
And her favourite Mareep to do this with is Fluffy. Fluffy the Mareep, who is the best Mareep. So while Mary wants to battle in the Mareep festival next week, Mary's mom does not want to because she's not ready. So Mary ignores her mum and gets Fluffy to have a battle with Pikachu. And Ash is just like, okay, I'll go against your mother's wishes and do that for you.
Why not? I just like battling.
Yeah, I just want to show off.
And every other time I've battled with a really inexperienced trainer has always gone great. I'll do that again.
They bring up that Mary would admire Ash for having a badge and taking part in the Johto League, because it reminds us that there is actually a point to this show.
There is a goal in mind. It's just going to take us 3 years to get to that.
Mary knows her stuff more than Ash, and I don't even know how old Mary is. She's younger than 10.
Maybe she's 9. She is given a Pokeball at the end of the episode, so maybe she's 9.
We'll never know.
It is a mystery.
One of the great mysteries that Pokemon has ever presented us with. How old is Mary? That filler character that turned up in one episode. So yes, Pikachu and Mareep have a battle, and I love the expressions on the Pokemon's faces before they start. Because Mareep's all serious, and Pikachu's just there with a smug smile on his face. She's like, hey, I'm better than you. I'm gonna win.
Who is the better electric type? I'm the better electric type.
Just you should have shades on or something.
Like the Squirtle Squad shades.
Yeah, definitely. The battle ramps up, and Mary gives a lot of commands to Mareep. Eventually ends up with Mareep and Pikachu doing a Thundershock off, where they're just Thundershocking each other. And
it's weird, too, because Pikachu can use Thunderbolt, so why are you using Thundershock?
Because it looks cool.
But it's not Thunderbolt.
Ash rarely even uses attack names.
Pikachu knows a stronger electric attack. Why would you use Thundershock?
Because why not?
Because he can win the battle.
Ash doesn't know that.
The sad part is that's probably true. I want an episode where Ash says use Thundershock and Pikachu knows Volt Tackle. And Pikachu's just what? You want me to what? You heard me, use Thundershock. I know how to use the strongest electric attack. Why would you want me to use Thundershock?
But they both use Thundershock, and I'm pretty certain that electricity would not damage electric types. So this whole thing's kind of dumb, but still, it looks cool. That's the main thing. Ash tells Pikachu to stop because Pikachu's getting worn out, whereas Mary tells Mareep to carry on, and then Mareep is pooped. So yeah, Mary feels really bad because she made Mareep tired, and she gets all sad and cryy and really, really sorry. And I'm just you didn't commit a murder, you just pushed him a little hard, okay?
She takes that really hard. It's okay, your Mareep's not dead, it just kind of got tired. It's just a little winded, that's it. That's all that's wrong.
She's like, oh no, I've crippled you for life. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
It's fine. Then Astra says oh, you really shouldn't listen to me. I hardly know anything.
Accurate. That's the truest thing Ash has ever said.
At least he's self-aware.
At least you got something.
Yeah. And then the happy ending music just comes to a close, and this is halfway in the episode again. I don't know why they have this happy ending music sometimes just playing mid-episode. It's really weird.
It's a nice moment, I guess.
Yeah, But that is like the Leaving at Sunset music.
It really is.
It's weird. So then, the second half of the episode revolves around a lightning storm coming in. And the Mareep kind of just worship the lightning. It's like they're a cult or something.
It would have been hilarious if Zapdos just descended and then just, like, shocked all of them.
It does look like some sort of ritual.
You're literally, like, sending the sheep up to, like, the sacrificial, like, pier, and then it's like the god's gonna show up.
But yeah, this is just so they can make the wool more fluffy for the festival.
They literally are like, okay, Mareep, be a lightning rod.
Wait, Mareep's tail is pretty much a lightning rod, actually.
It's literally a light bulb kind of thing.
I like Mareep's design. It's neat.
Actually, it's not neat. It's pretty messy and woolly. But
During this ritual worship of the lightning, Team Rocket turn up and chuck a net over all the Mareep and fly them up in the air on the balloon.
Which is covered in Christmas lights for some reason.
It comes into it later, doesn't it? But Ash does his usual thing of saying, Pikachu, solve the problem for me.
You're the only Pokemon I have that matters.
He's too lazy to throw a Pokeball out, so just Pikachu, you handle it. But they capture Pikachu in what just looks like a metal cage, so really should just be able to electrocute the cage.
It's electric proof, though.
We never see him try.
They always just say that right off the bat.
They didn't say that though, did they?
I feel like they did. They always do, right?
I don't think they did. I would have gone, oh, that's okay. But instead, Pikachu just doesn't try.
Wow, maybe they forgot to say it this time.
Like, if it's electric proof, it's usually like covered in rubber or something. But no, it's like a straight up metal cage. Pikachu's just like, I am defeated.
I understand plot convenience. Mareep has to solve this problem.
Except Raichu solves the problem first.
Raichu solves the first half of the problem by zapping an energy-absorbing panel on the front of the balloon. And so the panel just like absorbs the electricity and then turns the lights on and they're all flashing and pretty. And instead of going, oh, that didn't work, let's use a different Pokemon, she's just like, okay, brute force it and thunder it harder. And so Raichu just like thunderbolts it as hard as it possibly can, and then it finally like overpowers it and the balloon explodes and everything.
All the lights catch fire.
And then the balloon goes down. It's like, okay, cool. Problem 1 solved. Raichu's now out of commission. And then the Mareep are like, okay, let's attack Team Rocket. Problem, Team Rocket still has the energy panel that for some reason wasn't ruined by Raichu.
James was on fire.
I don't remember him being on fire. Was he on fire?
Yeah, when the balloon lands, James just runs around like, ah!
But there's basically like they try to set up like this big dramatic moment because like all the Mareep thunder shock together and they're not strong enough to like overpower the panel like Raichu did. But then what you think is going to happen is Fluffy is going to be like strong enough on all the electricity and it'll just explode the panel or something. But if you pay attention, what actually happens is the electricity arcs over the panel and hits Team Rocket. So Fluffy is the only Mareep smart enough to go, let's not hit the panel, let's hit the people behind the panel, which I think is actually really funny.
I mean, the whole scene's got a few things that are funny. Like, it's actually Fluffy's idea, not Mary's. I guess Mary just speaks Mareep or something.
Yeah, she kind of understands what Fluffy's trying to figure out.
Same thing as Ash and Pikachu have. The other funny thing is they could have just done tackle. That would work too.
Anything. Another Pokemon, a different attack, anything would have worked. But no, we're going to brute force this.
It's all about the electric Mareep. Oh, and of course, Pikachu chips in to help finish him off. Team Rocket goes blasting off again, and Arbok and Koffing are just running behind, scared. They didn't even do anything.
They're a little sheepish.
And then Brock says possibly the worst joke ever, where he says they should be called Team Shockets.
That's great.
Like, I don't get how they write such good puns for Team Rocket, and then Ash and Co get Team Shocket.
Team Shocket. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a great joke.
It's rubbish.
It's great.
It's rubbish, and you know it is.
No, it's great. It's amazing, and it's wonderful, and it's hilarious.
It's bad. So, in the course of 5 days, Mary is now ready to be a Pokemon trainer, and she gets given a Pokeball, and Fluffy is her Pokemon. And they're all like, woo, she's going to be great, she's going to do amazing, yeah. And I say to that, she has had one Pokemon battle, and she has literally one Pokemon.
I mean, she's doing better than Ash started out doing. Ash had one Pokemon that didn't even like him.
True, but it took all of an episode to fix that.
True.
Like, us, Pokemon are just brainwashed by the Pokeballs.
That may or may not be a thing.
Like, even outside of the Pokeball, Pikachu was slowly turned. Maybe that's why Pikachu hated it, because he didn't want to be brainwashed.
Pikachu hated his Pokeball, so that's how you know.
Yeah, so Pikachu actually likes Ash, instead of it being just a brainwashing effect.
Technically, Pikachu does have a Pokeball, so there is at least some brainwashing. It depends on whether or not you like that theory or not, I guess.
Still, Mary is not ready to be a Pokemon trainer. She's not, like, gonna be the Pokemon champion anytime soon. But everyone's just like, she's the best! Look at how good she is! Oh my god, look at how good she is at Pokemon!
She's also a child. They're trying to be encouraging, you know.
She only has Mareep.
And every trainer starts off with one Pokemon.
She's had one battle.
And you have to start somewhere.
One. And now she's ready.
Yeah.
She's fully qualified to be a Pokemon trainer after one battle. It's like me brushing my teeth and saying, I'm a fully qualified dentist.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot to Pokemon battling. I mean, you can do it. It doesn't mean you're going to be a professional.
You can do it too.
Anyone can, really. If you're 10, you can do it.
Probably not even 10.
She might be 9, though, because she was given a Pokeball, so maybe she's 9.
Who knows?
Who knows? This world's weird.
But yeah, that's where it ends. For once, they don't walk off into the sunset. Instead, it's much worse. They stayed there for a whole, 5 days.
They were there for a while, and all because Brock just, forcibly volunteered them.
I suppose they can be qualified Mareep herders in an hour. She can be a Pokemon trainer after one battle.
Sure.
So, let's go on then to the questions. So, who is your standout character?
Raichu. Just adorable. If I've ever in an episode where there's a Raichu present, Raichu is the standout character. I'm sorry. Just adorable, strong, and it was just the cutest thing watching it herd those Mareeps.
It's a good Pokemon.
Best kangaroo mouse.
It's just too fat to sit on Ash's head. It's like Pikachu didn't evolve. My standout character was Fluffy, because Fluffy was the best Pokemon trainer in the whole episode.
Yes.
Much better than Mary. Mary was boring. Fluffy was good.
Fluffy is very good.
What was your favourite thing?
I did kind of like that there was some growth for Mary a little bit. And so it was like she had to learn oh, I have to actually think about my Pokemon. She overreacted a little bit, and it was kind of nice that her mom was like, okay, you can be a trainer now because you kind of get the responsibility of it. That there was kind of a moral lesson in this.
And she learned it in one day.
They tried.
I suppose not everyone is as slow a learner as Ash. My favourite thing was just Pikachu's smug face.
The Pika face.
Pikachu is smug as anything. Was this episode filler or not filler? It was filler.
It's definitely filler.
Definitely.
It's fluffy filling. Like the cotton in a teddy bear.
Like the cotton in a teddy bear.
I was going to say wool filler, but people don't use wool to stuff things, so it kind of didn't work.
But I mean, the cotton in a teddy bear is kind of necessary for it to be a teddy bear. Otherwise, it's just limp and dead.
You have the outside part, and it's still a teddy bear. It's just the skin of a teddy bear. Words I never thought I'd say out loud. The skin of a teddy bear. Best out of context line ever.
And overall thoughts?
It was fun. 10 out of 10 would count sheep again. It was good filler, I think.
It's not the best filler we've had by a long shot.
No, definitely not. But it wasn't, hard to watch or anything.
No, it wasn't, excruciatingly painful to view. Not like the last episode of Digimon.
Oh, God, yeah, that was not fun.
Sorry, just having some flashbacks there. At least this episode kind of had a moral of just don't push people beyond the limits. So it did better than that Davis episode, which had no moral. It's just be an awful person and you will be rewarded.
If you just let things play out, you'll get what you want anyways.
If you're selfish and stubborn, things will always go your way. I think we're ready to move on. So let's move on to Genesis of Evil. Genesis of Evil first starts off by recapping Davis Cries Wolfmon, and it just portrays Davis in the worst light ever.
The summary really is just, if you're terrible to your friends, you'll just get what you wanted in the end.
Davis was lazy, counterproductive, jealous, manipulative, but then he got what he wanted.
He got everything he wanted out of that situation.
Go Davis!
Go Davis, I guess.
And then it goes into the actual episode, which should have been episode 22.
There shouldn't have been an episode before this.
Just like, I don't know why it got broken up with that awful thing in between.
They didn't need to do that to us.
Swap the episodes around and you're good. But no.
I feel like what they were trying to do is they were trying to, like, give the audience, like, a break from all the dramatic stuff, but it really ruined it. Because you just have that random nothing episode where Davis is terrible, and then you have this.
So I'm not really sure how to approach this, because the episode kind of just goes and goes and goes. And there's lots of, like, jumping back and forth between different memories and things. So it's hard to follow it exactly.
Basically, Ken is just sleeping. And basically trying to figure himself out and, like, find his heart, is what he says. And just leads him down this, like, what happened? Like, psychoanalyzing himself, kind of. Like, what happened? Why did this happen?
Yeah, like, essentially, the whole concept of the episode is explaining how the Digimon Emperor came to be, and explaining how that wasn't actually Ken's true self. So yeah, it starts off with Ken in that coma. His parents are outside as well, worried about him, because he's not waking up. And he's just like, I'm not ready yet. I wish I could just decide to stay asleep.
Like, no, I'm not feeling well. The world has to stop for me.
Let me sleep.
Let me sleep forever. Good night.
So yeah, we're basically just on like a path through Ken's memories going towards becoming the Emperor and stuff.
What led up to the Emperor and then what he's doing after. It really is just like a discovery of self kind of episode, but it's told mostly through memory.
And it's all like memory from Ken's perspective as well, because it's Ken's memories. A lot of it is like not realistic. It's quite symbolic, I guess, of how Ken feels about stuff. First thing we should mention is that Ken had an older brother called Sam, and Sam was a genius, and everyone thought Sam was the best and told Ken's mum to her face a lot.
People basically like idolized him.
He was like the ideal son, succeeding at school, really cool. That rhymed. Great.
Great job. You're right.
So yeah, because Ken's just like young and overthinking and everything, he just like imagines people saying like, can I get a clone of your son? I'm not a parent, so I have no idea if people actually just like go up to other people and say, your son's great. Can I copy him?
Pretty sure people don't do that.
Doesn't sound realistic.
There are some people who are kind of weird and will say things like, oh, I wish my kid was like that. But no one goes and like, can I clone your child, please?
And like, it's always the same woman saying these things.
It's just this one lady, I guess, who has like these issues.
She's just obsessed with Sam.
But then again, like you said, this whole thing's kind of symbolic, so maybe that was just Ken's stand-in for like an awful person.
Like, Ken was probably too young to really like form proper memories, I guess. So that's just kind of the gist of what he felt they were saying. So this, of course, makes Ken really jealous. I guess this is serious second child syndrome or something, and starts like wishing that Sam was just gone. And the next scene I've got notes about is where a Digivice turns up in Sam's bedroom. Ken wants to play with it because he's just a young kid. He's like, oh, new toy, yay. Sam's like, no, it's mine. It came out of my computer.
Sam gets weirdly like mean right here, which again I'm guessing is a symbolic thing, because like a really young kid would take like any kind of criticism harshly. So Ken took it as, you're a terrible brother. How could you have touched my things?
Yeah, he says stuff like, I can never trust you again.
And the other thing is like Sam is never portrayed as being that harsh ever again in any of Ken's other memories. So I'm guessing that it was just Ken feeling really bad about that particular memory and that he took it harshly.
Yeah, like every other memory, Sam's just really supportive and like teaching him to blow bubbles. I don't know why they picked bubbles.
Well, there's kind of some symbolism to that too later on.
I don't know. It worked in the show. So yeah, Sam just like puts the Digivice away in one of his drawers and leaves it. He doesn't do anything about the magical device that just came out of his computer. He just puts it in a drawer and says it's his. And then just leaves Ken in there with it. So Ken grabs it and manages to get himself warped into the digital world. And when he comes back later is when Sam's just like, I hate you. I don't trust you ever again. There, you suck.
Worst brother ever. 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10 do not like Ken. But Sam's so stupid. He's supposed to be a genius, and yet he doesn't do anything with the toy that can take you into a whole other world.
Right? Yeah, you think he'd be all over that, but no.
It's weird.
Then again, maybe he just couldn't get it to work or something.
It does, say later that it's Ken's Digivice, not Sam's.
Yeah, so maybe he just couldn't do anything with it.
Is just weirdly possessive of it because it came out of his computer. But I suppose if something came out of my computer, I'd probably say it was mine as well.
Right, it's like, nope, that's mine.
So we get some more of Ken wishing that Sam wasn't around, and then something happens to Sam and dies.
I think it's that he gets run over or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. It doesn't explicitly say that he was killed, but you kind of get the feel for it that, yeah, he's dead. But it's always referred to as, gone or lost or whatever.
Well, they show his picture in, a funeral setting.
Yeah, he's dead. He's pretty dead then.
He is gone.
He is kaput.
He is no more. He is gone to the great beyond.
So, after this, Ken gets an email on Sam's computer from some stranger who's just starts explaining how he knows how he feels and starts manipulating him and gets him to go into Sam's drawer to get the Digivice again. And then Ken goes into the dark ocean instead of the digital world. And in the dark ocean, it's a little sort of snippet of music from when the Adventure Kids first went to the digital world. And the music's all warped and dark and evil. I just really like the use of the music to sort of take this familiar theme of going into a new world for the first time and twisting it to match the dark setting that the episode has and the location has.
An uncanny kind of way, yeah.
Just that's really clever use of music because this is kind of Ken's introduction to this whole dark world, but it's not good. Unlike when the Adventure Kids were in the digital world for the first time, they played all the relaxing music. So it's a nice sort of parallel, a link to those two first times.
A nice callback.
So Ken dips the regular Digivice into the dark ocean, and it becomes the dark Digivice, the D3.
The evil dark D3.
Yes, that one. So while he's having all these flashbacks, Ken's parents are in the real world. Ken's parents start thinking about how they were kind of pushing Ken into the same role that Sam was and not giving him a chance to be himself. They're kind of just pushing him to become that boy genius that Sam was.
And they kind of enabled it because they made it sound like Ken was he started studying and doing all that stuff. And then they were like, oh, he was probably just trying to be Sam. They kind of realized oh, we're terrible parents. Ken kind of wakes up while they're talking about this. And to me, it's really funny because when he first sees them, he's kind of confused. He seems like delirious almost, he doesn't understand what's happening. And his parents oh, he doesn't seem to know who we are. Ken, we're so sorry about Sam and about pressuring you to be your brother. And it's you just acknowledged that he doesn't recognize you. He's not going to know who his brother is or what happened if he has memory loss or whatever. But they're just no, we're going to unload this baggage on you now because we realized we had a flaw and we're sorry, even though you don't know what we're talking about.
It wasn't the best time.
No, it really wasn't.
Ken's just not in a good frame of mind. What is it he says? He's I've not lost my memories, I've lost my heart. Okay, but you've also lost your memories from the sounds of it.
Yeah, that's a little more serious than losing your heart. You don't remember anything.
Who am I? Who are you? It's he's kind of a shell for the scenes there. So there's kind of just lots of serious themes about grief and family and identity that persist through the whole episode. Even up to this point, the whole thing has been these themes.
Yeah, the whole episode is just about Ken and about him thinking through all of this.
And then the last sort of theme that comes into it is sort of rebirth, I would say.
Both literal and figurative.
Because this last bit is all about Ken searching for Wormmon, because Wormmon, knew his heart, I guess, or whatever. Oh, that sounds so sappy.
It's his Digimon, it's his partner.
So Ken goes into the digital world, and his parents we've lost him again, he's disappeared.
Yeah, also Ken, not the best time.
They never question how he just appears and disappears in his room.
He could just be climbing out his window, I guess, I don't know.
It's a 4-story drop.
Who knows, man? Who knows? You get a ladder, right? You just get a ladder. Problem solved.
So yeah, Ken winds up in Primary Village, where there's lots of very, very intelligent baby Digimon. They speak in full sentences. I again assume that this is just Ken's mind filling in the blanks for him again, and sort of rebounding back at himself with all his own doubts.
Yeah, I was curious about that too, because these babies are savage. They start saying all sorts of things to him. There's one, Whalemon that's kind of it's This is Primary Village. And then there's all these babies who are like, you're the worst person. You're beyond redemption. How dare you? What the heck? You guys just hatched. Calm down.
Yeah, this is why I think it's probably Ken, voicing his own concerns and doubts back at himself. Because babies don't talk usually in Digimon.
I think it's similar to the flashback with Sam, where he's hearing negativity, but not to the degree that we're seeing it, really. So maybe they're saying, oh, what are you doing here? You look like the Emperor. And he's thinking, you're the worst person in the world. How dare you come here? And it's he's hearing it more dramatic than it really is.
Gonna say they managed to sneak in another one of the jokes. The Punimon just brings up a million cliches.
Yes, I love that. I love that too.
It's I keep going, but I can't think of any more cliches.
Just directly referencing the fact that they're being really cliche.
They only managed to sneak in a couple jokes in the episode, fortunately, because that would ruin it if it was just full of jokes.
They were able to resist the call of the puns, which I will commend. That's very hard to do.
So, during his time in Primary Village, he starts having a flashback to his first time in the digital world. This is where I like to play a game of Spot the Rio.
He is right there.
Yep, he's just there.
He's just there. They never explain why he's there, who he is. If you don't know anything about who Rio is, you are very confused watching this.
He's not even acknowledged by Ken or Wormmon.
He's just there. He is just drawn there. He has no lines, nothing. Not even like a surprised sound. Nothing. Not a gasp. Not a breath. Nothing. He's just there. That's it.
He's basically just there to explain how Ken survived his first trip to Digital World when he was 3 or whatever.
Yeah, he found another person.
Rio was just there. And yeah, Wormmon in the flashbacks talking to Ken and going oh, Ken, you're so gentle. Promise me you'll never forget about how kind you are. And then Ken's just I broke my promise. I messed everything up. I couldn't keep my promise to Wormmon, and it's all bad. Wormmon is the goodest boy.
There's a nice line that Wormmon has where he's just you took a long detour getting there, but you kept your promise. And it's just, Wormmon's just so good.
You skipped a tiny bit ahead. Yeah, because Ken remembers that he's supposed to be kind and gentle. The crest of gentleness, I guess.
Kindness, gentleness, sort of the same thing.
And the crest starts glowing, and Ken is brought to Leafmon's egg.
Baby Wormmon is a leaf. With a pacifier for some reason.
First thing he does is clarify, I'm the baby form of Wormmon. I'm the same one, okay? Just so the audience knows.
Right, yeah, because they're going to be that's not Wormmon.
Even though everyone could probably guess. But exposition. So, Leafmon is really cute. Ken cries a lot and just decides to start being Ken again instead of trying to be Sam or being the Digimon Emperor because he's mad at Sam.
Yeah, I guess I mentioned the cute line Wormmon has.
Leafmon's cute.
Or Leafmon. Leafmon. It's Wormmon. Effectively, it's Wormmon.
There's lots of crying, and Ken's just I will be a good boy now.
I will be good.
And he comes back and hugs his parents like a good boy.
And Ken is effectively a new character now.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
But that 20 minutes of episode flew by for me. I don't know if it was the same for you.
Yeah, it didn't feel as long as it was at all. It was nice. There was a lot going on. So it was really fast. It was very interesting.
It's jam-packed with a lot of stuff that explains everything about the Digimon Emperor, basically. And
there's a lot to take in. There's a lot of heavy themes. And especially since, that someone died, which is really sad. It's yeah, we're having all these nice memories of this kid and he's dead. And it's just, it kind of hits you.
All these nice memories. There's 2 memories of him.
Well,
One of them's blowing bubbles, the other's being shouted at for having a Digivice.
Well, you know what I mean. He's remembering his brother, which he cares about, and then...
It is a heavy episode.
Yeah, it is.
I'll go into it more in overall thoughts. So, who was your standout character, I wonder?
It was Wormmon.
Wrong.
Or Leafmon, I guess.
Incorrect.
Because too good and too pure. And Ken, honestly, doesn't deserve the sweet bean.
But, Chisai.
What?
Rio.
That's your point.
It was Ken. It has to be. Surely. Again, it's Ken and Wormmon bounce off each other really well.
I just prefer a good, adorable worm boy because he's just been so good. Of anyone, Wormmon has the most reason to turn on him. And Wormon's like, oh, you kept your promise. And it's just like so heartwarming and it's so pure. And he's just too good. And I love him.
Okay, but Ken was better.
Ken was the focus. He's not better.
He stood out. There's so much to analyze with Ken.
True.
You don't have anything with any other character in Digimon. There's only Ken. This whole series, there's Ken. That's like the only character with any actual depth.
That's fair.
This whole episode is just let's analyze Ken.
Yeah, it is. But Wormmon.
Wormmon is a good boy.
Yes, thank you.
But Ken still stood out more for me.
Fine. I still choose Wormmon.
That's fair enough. So what was your favourite thing about the episode?
There's a backstory, and there's depth, and there's actual, like, character. It's not just a terrible person who's meant to laugh at, like Davis, or just one-note characters like pretty much everyone else. There's some actual substance, which is nice. And yeah, so I guess my favorite thing is just, I feel like this is cheating, but just the story in general, I guess. The effort is my favorite thing.
Well, the fact they tried.
The fact they tried is my favorite thing.
Wow, that makes a change. They actually tried to write a good episode.
They tried to make a good character.
I couldn't really pick just a singular thing either. Just like the whole episode's so good. So like, if I had to pick a single thing to be my favourite thing, I'd say Ken and Leafmon in Primary Village reuniting was pretty nice. That's the moment I'll pick as my favourite thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice moment. Being together and Ken not being terrible.
He wasn't terrible, he was evil.
What? Oh, that's still the same thing. He was terrible and awful and evil. That's what I mean. Another thing I wanted to mention is I also really like that he's flawed. Like, he literally tried to take over the world and they're going through a redemption arc. Like, I don't know. I think it's neat. It's kind of nice to go for an angle of, like, even if you do the most awful thing, if you really want to be better, you can. You know, that's nice. It's nice that they showed that.
It does kind of explain how he thought the digital world was a video game as well. Because he kind of just discovered it when he was very young and didn't really get anything. So he just thought it was one of Sam's video games that he was playing with or something.
And yeah, it's really not that hard to think that it's a video game. I mean, everything's made of data. It's in a computer. It's not hard to come to that conclusion. But it's still nice that they have this evil character who, like, you know, has this moment.
So was this episode filler or not filler?
Not filler?
Yes. I'd definitely say it was not filler.
It's huge character growth and he gets a crest.
Well, the crest doesn't really matter. I don't really know why he has a crest.
Because they made a new one. I don't know.
I'm assuming it's something with the Wonder Swan games again, because it doesn't make sense. But who really cares? And now, overall thoughts.
I'd say the episode was a little rushed, but it was really nice.
It was really good. I kind of want to just ramble about tons of things that kind of make sense to me, but there's lots of connections and themes to dig through. Are you okay if I just ramble for a bit?
Yeah, go for it.
So this episode has many themes that Digimon has not had before. Kind of had, I guess, but it explores them all with one character and explores grief because of the loss of Sam, and the parents and Ken both try and deal with that. Loss kind of comes into that as well. Not the awful Digimon Adventure Tri-film though. Family comes into it because Ken and his parents, their whole sort of dynamic hasn't worked since Sam went. Identity comes into it because Ken essentially has been trying to fill a role that was previously Sam's, and he's forgotten who Ken even was as a result. And that's kind of built just a resentment for Sam that has then formed as a whole other identity as the Digimon Emperor, who was basically just like, I guess, Ken's attempt to be better than Sam and have control over his own world, over himself, which he couldn't do because he felt like his parents needed him to be Sam to fill that role again of boy genius. Basically, the Digimon Emperor is just formed entirely because Ken felt inadequate as Ken, which is really, really sad. It explains a lot about how the Emperor came into being, and essentially this whole episode is about Ken forgetting about being Sam, forgetting about being the Emperor, and just becoming himself again. And it culminates in this rebirth where Wormmon comes back, and so does Ken in that whole scene. And it's just a really powerful arc, and it's all conveyed in one episode somehow, which is honestly just wow. I don't know how they pulled it off really, but they managed it. A really, really strong character and a good finish to his character arc. Well, it's not even finished, like There's more with Ken to come. It concludes the Digimon Emperor as a character and his entire arc of no longer being the Emperor and being necessary for Ken's idea of self-worth. So, yeah, I think I'm done rambling. Basically, this episode's really, really good. I don't know why it's a Digimon episode, because it's too good.
This episode kind of makes me upset because, honestly, if they had put this much effort into the whole series, it could have been amazing. But instead, for some reason, they just give it to Ken and no one else. And I don't know. Not the rest of the series just does not have that much attention.
Maybe they just had a stronger basis with Ken because they went off the video games, I think, like the Wonder Swan games. So they had an arc for him already to go off of. So they could build him around fitting those plot beats.
That's true. But still, it just would have been nice if they could have, I don't know,
given anyone else an arc as well. But so far, Ken is, like, supposed to be the villain, but the Emperor is basically gone now, it's just Ken. And Ken is, like, a whole new character, 23 episodes in, and it makes perfect sense, which is just impressive, honestly. This episode is a miracle. I don't know how it happened. This episode is filled with far too many complex themes and connections for Digimon standards.
It's a good episode, but it's just got so much effort in it. And then the rest of the series just doesn't have that, and it's just like how and why and what and who and huh.
I'd say it's a great episode. I would go that far.
It's really good. The only thing is it's a little rushed. Like, it would have been nicer if maybe they stretched this out a little bit.
I think it was perfectly paced. When matched up with The Crest of Kindness, the previous episode, perfect. When you put Davis Cries Wolfman in between, bleh.
Davis Cries Wolfman didn't need to be there.
Davis just doesn't need to be there. Give us Vmon, we don't need Davis. Is there anything else that we specifically want to bring up?
No, I think that's it.
Let's go to Mono a Mono. Now it's time for Mono a Mono, where we attempt to compare the episodes. So, who was your monster of the week and why?
So, it's a tough choice between Raichu and Wormmon. Well, I guess Leafmon, because it's Leafmon in this episode, but you know what I mean.
Who are you picking?
All three, Wormmon.
Okay, why?
Because he's a good boy.
Yep.
He's too pure for this series. He's too good. He's too sweet and innocent. He didn't ask for this. Poor Wormmon.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
I picked Fluffy.
Really? You picked Fluffy?
Fluffy was great.
Yeah.
Fluffy the Mareep was great. Best filler Pokemon we've had. They actually had a personality. Like, they were smart and good. And Mary was dumb as anything.
She's younger than 10, so...
I liked Fluffy.
Fluffy's a good sheep.
Next question. Who was worse, Ash or Davis?
I guess Ash, because at least Davis had the decency to not be there.
Davis was not in this episode.
Good job, Davis.
But I would still argue Davis was worse.
How?
The reason is, Davis was in the recap, and in the recap, he was awful.
Yeah, but the recap isn't the episode.
But for Davis Cries Wolfmon being in between, purely for how wrong a decision that was and how bad Davis is, I kind of want to say that Davis was worse.
I call foul play.
Davis came between The Crest of Kindness and Genesis of Evil being back-to-back episodes. He wasn't even good in between the episodes, he was just bad.
It was just there, and it was not fun.
That's why I'm arguing Davis was worse, because Ash was pretty good. He was pretty solid.
We'll go ahead and just kick Davis under the bus again, it's fine. He's used to it at this point.
Really, any excuse to take away points from Davis is fine by me. Even if it's just, he had an awful episode last time and the recap in this episode reminded me of it.
We're so biased.
It's pretty even still. But yeah, this episode is pretty much perfect except for the recap of last episode reminding me of that one. So, Davis can die.
Jeez. I said throw him under the bus, not murder him. Jeez.
That's not how the list works. I can't kill characters.
You can kill them in your heart, though, and that's all that matters.
I can stop watching. Does that kill them? Does a character die if no one's there to watch them?
I guess that's kind of an argument of, like, do you truly die when no one remembers you? Hey, we got weirdly metaphysical there.
Which storyline did you prefer?
Definitely the sheep one. You gotta give points to the sheep.
Explain.
You gotta love those sheep. It had a Raichu in it. Best episode.
Are you serious?
No, of course I'm not.
Good.
Pretty sure anyone who listened this far in knows that I'm joking.
Pokemon was funnier, but Digimon's storyline was far, far, far superior.
Sheep's got nothing on angst.
It wasn't even angst.
Well, sheep's got nothing on feels.
Now, were there any notable similarities?
Oh, I hate this part. I'm always so bad at these.
Surprisingly, I have several.
You have several?
I have like 4.
Between the sheep episode and Genesis of Evil?
Yes.
By all means, go for it.
So, there was a theme of not pushing yourself beyond your limits and being overworked, because Ken pushes himself far too hard to basically fill Sam's boots, and Fluffy is also pushed way too hard in the battle.
I don't think that's more like pushing, though. It's more just like an identity crisis.
Well, he has to work pretty damn hard. He's just constantly studying.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess.
I've got characters like not being ready to face up to things yet. It's like Mary realizes that she's not quite ready to be a Pokemon trainer. Ken realizes that he's not ready to wake up yet because he still needs to figure some stuff out.
Okay.
And the other things I've got is actually quite a bit between Mary and Ken. Both Mary and Ken get their own like device as a symbol of their sort of roles. So the Pokeball is Pokemon trainer, the Digivice is Digidestined.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, Mary is the Digimon Emperor.
If later down the line we just see an evil trainer with an Ampharos, we'll know what happens.
And a whip. But yeah, they do have some similarities, which is odd. Like, Mary is basically just Ken.
I don't know if I'd go that far with it, but I mean, sure.
She's gentle with her Pokemon, and she regrets pushing them too hard and whipping them, and she doesn't whip them. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's a stretch, because her version of this amounts to, I made you use Thundershock too long. Ken's version of this is, I enslaved most of the Digimon of this world and made them fight for my amusement, then created my own monster Chimera Digimon and had it destroy everything. Basically caused the death of my partner, the only person who cared about me, and then I finally came around to the fact I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's a difference. So Ken is just Mary dialed up to 11 then. Mary goes through a much simpler version of Ken's arc, where it's less dramatic and evil.
I guess so, sure.
The only other similarity I've got is that there's flashing lights and electricity.
Is there? Where is it in the second one?
When the monitor flashes.
Oh, okay. Then I could just say, well, they slept in both episodes.
People slept.
They slept in both episodes.
True. Is that all you've got?
There is a Digimon and a Pokemon, respectively, that is too pure for the world. You have Wormmon and you have Fluffy.
Wormmon and Fluffy.
And Raichu.
Were there any notable differences? Pokemon had colour. Digimon kind of didn't.
There was no death in Pokemon.
But no one was reborn. So does that not make Digimon happier in the end?
No. Oh, it doesn't.
Digimon had a much darker tone and stronger themes, but less jokes. Pokemon was funnier.
Yeah, because it wasn't about depression.
Neither was Digimon. Digimon was about grief and identity.
Okay, it wasn't depressing.
And there were more sheep in Pokemon.
There was only sheep in Pokemon.
No, there was also 2 mice, and a snake, and a ball of gas, and a cat.
There was also no sassy babies in Pokemon.
I just realised that was Rio the filler character this episode.
I guess there was really no one else there. No, his parents. His parents are the filler characters.
They're not filler.
You don't see him that much.
They're important to Ken's whole thing.
Yeah, but you don't see him that much.
The whole reason Ken became the Emperor was because he was trying to prove that he was better than Sam in some way to himself, because his parents love Sam.
I guess. Rio literally had no lines. You just see him. He's there. That's it.
Rio did as much as Ash and Co. Well, the Co. in Ash and Co.
He did about as much as Brock. No, because Brock and Misty at least spoke.
I can barely recall anything Misty said.
Misty says her usual, spiels to Brock and stuff. Tells Ash not to die.
It's like nothing specific she says that's memorable.
But she still says something. Rio does not.
I suppose. There were forests in both shows again.
True.
There's another similarity. But there was no desert in Pokemon.
There was not a land of eggs in Pokemon. So that's a difference.
And there's no amnesia or self-discovery. Basically, Pokemon is lacking a lot of things Digimon had that were good. Okay, I think we've got enough similarities and differences. So, which episode deserves the point and why?
There was an episode with a Raichu in it, so I'm just gonna say no, Digimon deserves it.
This is by far one of the best episodes of 02 so far.
Yeah, it is.
Paired with the Crest of Kindness, forgetting Deus Kreiswolfmon in between, this is like the best back-to-back episodes in the series.
Just wipe Davis Kreiswolfmon from your memory.
Pokemon just pales in comparison to this episode of Digimon.
It really does.
Just like, it really sheds light on just how lacking in any sort of character all the characters in Pokemon are. But it also sheds that same light on every character that's not Ken in Digimon. So the tides haven't really turned. It's still pretty even. So Digimon gets the point. It's 13-10 to Pokemon. And yeah, I think we are good for the outros. Next time we'll be discussing the 24th episodes. If I Had a Tailhammer and Wired for Battle. If you want to get in touch, just tweet at us, email at us, or jump in our Discord to chat at us. And of course, a massive thank you to my lovely co-host, Chisai, for joining me. Where can people find you?
Places. Doing things. Mostly Tumblr. It's Chisai236 on Tumblr. Or in the Discord when it decides to not kill me.
Constant connection issues this whole episode.
Yes, yeah, it's been a nightmare. Discord hates me today for some reason. But yeah, art's on the Tumblr, chat's on the Discord. That's about it.
All links to our stuff are in the show notes, including the Modcast Patreon. So massive thank you to every one of our patrons, including Chisai236.
Hey!
Yeah, that's you. Well done. James B, John C, Nicholas, and Irving G for supporting this show. It means a massive deal. If you can share our episodes or support Patreon, please do, because I am broke as anything. Thank you for listening. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye!
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 Beep, beep, I'm a sheep. I said beep, beep, I'm a sheep. Beep, beep, I'm a sheep. I said beep, beep, I'm a sheep.
Beep, beep, I'm a sheep.
I said beep, beep, I'm a sheep. I said beep, beep, I'm a sheep. I said
Beep, beep, I'm a sheep. What's lamb meat? What's lamb meat called?
Lamb. I just realised that sounds like a really racist way of saying why.
Saying what?
Just saying like, why? I don't know. Just ignore me.
Wait, what?
Right.
What are you talking about?
I don't even know anymore.
Who am I?
The shoulder Raichu. You'd get such back problems.
You would.
What the hell happened then? Problams.
Problams. You got them problams.
I've got 99 problams and pronunciation is one. Where was I? My brain's gone.
Huh? Oh, sorry, I think I'm cutting
the
again.
do sneak in. No, that's just me trying to speak and think at the same time.
Huh? What? Sorry?
I was trying to think.
Oh.
That's why it was cutting, because my brain was cutting out.
I thought it was going quiet.